श्रीलंका का फर्ग्यूसन 91 रन हुआ श्रीलंका का स्कोर। फर्ग्यूसन का व्यक्तिगत स्कोर, फर्ग्यूसन जो गेंदबाजी कर रहे हैं, ये डिसिल्वा हैं 10 रन पर दहाई में पहुंचे। बहुत राहत मिलती होगी जब आप 10 रन बना लेते हैं। नंदन से बाद में पूछूंगा। फर्ग्यूसन यहाँ गेंदबाजी का जिम्मा संभालते हुए श्रीलंका के खिलाड़ी मैथ्यूज ने पूरा सम्मान दिया और आज़ादी नहीं लेने दे रहे। जहां आप जानते हैं तेज गति से आ रही है, शरीर के अंदर आ रही है गेंदें, तो आप सिवाय उसको रोकने के कुछ नहीं कर सकते। 14 ओवर की समाप्ति, 91 रन 5 विकेट के नुकसान पर श्रीलंका का स्कोर।
14 overs gone. Sri Lanka put into bat 91 for the loss of 5 wickets. We'll quickly give you the scorecard. Pathum Nissanka was the first to go, caught by Latham of Southey for 2. He faced 8 deliveries. Kusal Mendes, their captain, was caught by Ravindra of Trent bowled for 6. Samar Vikrama was caught by Mitchell of bowled for 1. And then Kusal Perera, who batted so well, was caught by Santner of Ferguson for 51. And the last wicket to fall was Charita Salanka. Leg before wicket to bolt after a review was taken by the New Zealanders. As here is Santner starting his second over, bowled a very tidy first over. Runs in, bowls to De Silva of the back foot. De Silva steers it down to short third man. Ferguson the fielder there. There is no run. 3 fielders inside the ring for Santner on the offside. 2 on the onside. There's a short third man point and an extra cover. Apart from a sweeper and a long off on the offside. A long on, a deep mid wicket, a mid wicket and a short fine leg on the onside. Here is Santner into De Silva. De Silva plays it to the right of Williamson, who is at mid wicket. And before Williamson can get to the ball, a single to De Silva takes him on to 11. Matthews also is on 11. And Sri Lanka are 91 for the loss of 5 wickets. They lost the last wicket with the score on 70 as that ball beats Angelo Matthews and beats Latham as well. Latham has been just a little sloppy in the field. That was also an edge, it seems to be. So that looks like another dropped catch. That ball, Matthews stretching for the ball, playing away from his body. Nice tossed up delivery, beautiful ball. There was turn as well, getting the outside edge of Matthews' bat. Latham unable to hang on to it. So another reprieve for a Sri Lankan batsman. We saw Perera dropped by Latham of the bowling of Southey in Southey's first over. We'll have to wait and ask Venkat whether Perera had got off the mark at that point in time. But this time Matthews being dropped. Now a slip in place, seeing that the last ball turned appreciably. And that would gladden the hearts of the Sri Lankans because they have quite a few spinners in their ranks. And if there is turn and bounce in this wicket, it will only help them. All they have to really do is put a decent score on the board. The next ball from Santner is played down the ground by De Silva. Bolt, the fielder who comes off the long off fence. A single takes De Silva on to 11, on to 12 rather. De Silva is 13, Matthews is 11. And Sri Lanka are 94 for 5. Here is Santner into Matthews. Matthews comes forward and plays it defensively. And there is no run. Very good bowling by Mitchell Santner, one of New Zealand's most experienced bowler. The only left-arm spinner in this squad before Ravindra came in. Now he has a partner in Ravindra. Ravindra also a very handy left-arm spinner. You might see him in action sooner rather than later. The next ball slightly short. And Matthews off the back foot plays a classical square cut, but straight to the man on the cover boundary. A single then to end the over. At the end of 15 overs, Sri Lanka are 95 for the loss of 5 wickets. Angelo Matthews is on 13 of 22 and Dhananjay De Silva 12 of 15.
क्या तनाव आपके मानसिक और शारीरिक स्वास्थ्य पर बुरा असर डाल रहा है और आप समय प्रबंधन नहीं कर पा रहे? तनाव प्रबंधन के लिए टेलीमानस के 14416 पर संपर्क करें।
15 overs gone, 95 for 5 and the first rings coming onto the field. So what would you consider, whether is Sri Lanka ahead or is New Zealand ahead at this point in time?
सर बहुत अच्छा प्रश्न पूछा है। अगर गेंदबाजी की बात करें तो नंदन, श्रीलंका ने सम्मान दिया, इसका अर्थ है कि गेंदबाजी अच्छी थी न्यूजीलैंड की, और सेंटर की जो तीसरी गेंद थी, फ्लाइट बहुत सुंदर थी उसमें, और जो टर्न उसको मिली वो आपने कहा कि अगर श्रीलंकन खिलाड़ी उससे बड़े खुश हो रहे होंगे, क्योंकि उनके पास बहुत अच्छे स्पिनर हैं, तो क्या कुछ कर पाएंगे वो अलग प्रश्न है, लेकिन अच्छी टर्न मिली और लेंथम ने 2 कैच छोड़ दिए। सो ये न्यूजीलैंड की टीम की जो हम तारीफ करते हैं कि बहुत सुंदर उनका फील्डिंग है, सो वहाँ थोड़ी सी अतिशयोक्ति थी। एनीवे, हम लोग बात कर रहे थे बहुत सारे परिवर्तन की, जो खेल में जिस तरह से परिवर्तन हुआ है, फास्ट बॉलर्स के इतने हथियार हो गए हैं, जैसे आपने अभी बीच में देखा नकल बॉल डाली, स्प्लिट डिलीवरी होती है, क्लोजर बॉल डाल रहे हैं, क्रॉसिंग डिलीवरी हो रही है। क्या आप तो क्योंकि खुद कोच हैं, तो आपको क्या लगता है कि इतना बुद्धि का इस्तेमाल खेल में हो गया है, या उस जमाने को याद करें जब पूरी ताकत का इस्तेमाल होता था?
I think there are two main reasons for it, Mukul. One is the nature of the pitches are getting flatter and flatter every day, batsman friendly. The second is also the quality of the bats. The bats are so good that even a miss hit goes for a 6. And I think one more thing we need to bring into the equation is the boundary distances. The boundaries are getting smaller because spectators want to see boundaries and sixes. So the organizers get smaller and smaller boundaries, so it's becoming more and more difficult for the bowlers to survive, and the only way out for the bowlers is to come up with a bag full of tricks. So you see the knuckle ball, you see the split finger, you see the back of the hand, the slow one, the single finger. Then every day, almost every day, there's something new coming up, and it's become fascinating because now the batters also have to think. They have to be that much more careful and vigilant in trying to see what the
स्ट्रोक्स में भी बहुत विविधता आ गई। जो चीज़ें पहले क्रॉस बल्ले को किसी डिक्शनरी में शामिल नहीं किया जाता था, और बहुत ही कोई आलोचना होती थी यदि बल्लेबाज उस तरह से आड़े बल्ले से खेलता था, अब कैसे खेलता है, कितना बुरा खेलता है उससे मतलब नहीं है, रन कितने बना दिए वो इम्पोर्टेंट हो गया।
Runs is what counts, but also in the batting you see there's a scoop, there's a reverse hit, there's a switch hit, so many shots, there's a ramp shot, so the Dil scoop which came up many years ago. So experiments are being made, new things are being come up with, and it's exciting because that's making the game more exciting for the spectators. And of course there is place for the classical players still. You see a Williamson, you see a Joe Root, you see a Virat Kohli. There are still players who don't play all these strokes, but then still are very successful in all formats of the game. So drinks going off the field. 95 for the loss of 5 wickets is the Sri Lankan total. Williamson won the toss earlier today, elected to bowl first, put Sri Lanka in with one eye on the rain. That gives us a chance to give you the bowling figures. Trent bowled 6 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 30. Saudi 3 overs for 35 as Saudi comes back into the bowling attack. From the far end, runs in, bowls to Matthews. Matthews very stylishly plays him forward of square, down to the square leg boundary. A single, that's Conway coming off the boundary. That single taking Matthews up to 14, and Sri Lanka 4 short of the 100, 96 for 5. Saudi before this then 3 overs for 35, he got the 1 wicket. Lockie Ferguson 4 overs for 25, 1 wicket. And Mitchell Santner, who's bowled just 2 overs, very tidy overs for 5 runs. The New Zealand bowling options, you might see Ravindra in the attack, Phillips, as here is Saudi into De Silva. Good ball from Saudi on a length. De Silva very correctly forward, bat and pad close together, copybook style, plays it up to extra cover, and there is no run. Since we are in the second power play now, over number 11 to 40, 4 fielders allowed outside the 30-yard circle. But still New Zealand have as many as 6 fielders inside the ring. So they are putting pressure on the Sri Lankan batters, challenging them to play through the gaps or go over them. Here is Saudi again. Into De Silva. De Silva trying to steer it down to third man, doesn't succeed, plays it up to point, and there is no run. The Chinnaswamy Stadium, as Mukul said a little while ago, has great history behind it. Almost 50 years of cricket played on it. The first test match played here in 1974. That was also Vivian Richards' debut test match, West Indies versus India, led by Clive Lloyd. West Indies beat India. And over the years, this venue has seen some fantastic test and one-day matches. Here is Saudi again into De Silva. De Silva once again correctly behind it, and there is no run. The stadium also is the only cricket stadium in the world which has solar power. And Mukul also tells us that the drainage system is a special one. So a lot of credit to this stadium. It's a beautiful stadium to watch cricket from. The stands are nicely appointed, colourful stadium. And Bengaluru always has excellent weather, so it's a real treat for the cricket connoisseur. Here is Saudi again, into De Silva. Keeping him quiet in this over is Saudi, bowling on a length. And De Silva, mindful of the situation of the game, realizing that he does not or cannot afford to do anything silly, cannot afford to lose his wicket, with the senior batter Angelo Matthews out at the other end. Sri Lanka will have to end up going into another 10-15 overs. They don't have a lot of batting to come after this. Their tail is not really known, their batsmanship. Here is Saudi again. Into De Silva. Having said that, De Silva going over the top. Has he made good contact? He has, and the ball goes into the stands for 6. What a way to end the over. Last ball of the 16th over, we were saying how Saudi has managed to keep De Silva quiet. And as if to prove us wrong, De Silva playing the last ball high and handsome over long on for 6. That also brings up the 100 of the New Zealand innings.
This commentary is brought to you by Akashvani in association with Channel 2 Group, exclusive global rights holder.
सो खूबसूरत शॉट 6 रन के साथ ही श्रीलंका में कुछ जिसको कहते हैं उत्साह की लहर दौड़ाते हुए डिसिल्वा काफी देर से गंभीर और शांत बल्लेबाजी कर रहे थे, सम्मान दे रहे थे. इस बार लॉफ्टेड उन्होंने सुंदर लॉन्ग ऑन की तरफ सीमा रेखा के बाहर निकाला, ऊंचा हवा में शॉट और 6 रन. सो 102 5 विकेट के नुकसान पर 16 ओवर की समाप्ति पे 6.38 की इस समय औसत. सेंटनर गेंदबाजी करने के लिए तैयार, कलाइयों का इस्तेमाल किया, बीट करना चाहते थे. फील्डर ने डाइव भी लगाया था वहां और 1 रन पूरा किया. दूसरे रन के लिए दौड़ पड़े जब तक कि सीमा रेखा के पास फील्ड होती. 2 रन से संतुष्ट मैथ्यूज में. डे सिल्वा बहुत अच्छा स्ट्रोक कहा जा सकता है. समय की पुकार, जब आप बहुत गंभीर खेल चल रहा हो, आपको लय और ताल गेंदबाजों की तोड़नी हो, तो कुछ इस तरह के परेरा ने प्रयास किए थे, लेकिन उसके बाद से एक सन्नाटा छाया हुआ था. सेंटनर गेंदबाजी करने के लिए तैयार. अच्छी गेंद अंदर आती हुई, पूरा सम्मान दिया उसको. स्पिन नहीं थी, टॉप स्पिन भी होती है. बहुत सारी चीजों की हम बात करते हैं. स्पिन में भी बहुत सारे स्लाइडर और टॉप स्पिन और नॉर्मल ऑफ स्पिन और लॉन्ग स्पिन तो बहुत बीते जमाने की बात हो गई. सो बुद्धि हावी होती हुई खेल में, कहने का अर्थ सिर्फ इतना है. सेंटनर की गेंद आगे अपने कदमों का इस्तेमाल किया, सिर्फ रक्षात्मक तरीके से खेला. सोच रहे थे कि पढ़ नहीं पा रहे फ्लाइट को, जहां टप्पा पड़ रहा है उसको, और पढ़ेंगे तो फिर आजादी लेंगे. मैथ्यूज अच्छे, बहुत ही अनुभवी बल्लेबाज हैं. श्रीलंका की रीढ़ की हड्डी थे किसी जमाने में. 104 5 विकेट के नुकसान पर इस बार किनारा लेती हुई स्लिप पर बहुत सुंदर स्पिन गेंद बाहर की तरफ निकलती हुई और मैथ्यूज की पारी का.
Similar to what happened in the earlier over, got the outside edge, but Latham could not hold on to it. And that ball also ricocheted towards the slip, but there was no slip in place on that occasion. Williamson quickly rectifying that mistake, putting a slip in place. Another beautiful left arm off-spin delivery from Santner. The ball gripping the surface, turning, bouncing, taking the outside edge, and a very easy catch for Daryl Mitchell at slip. An important blow for New Zealand here, because they've got rid of Matthews, who could be very, very dangerous if he gets going. And at 104 for 6, how much more can Sri Lanka do remains the question.
नितिन से बात करेंगे सेंटनर के बारे में. जब जो 2 गेंदें ऐसी आई जिनको देखने के बाद जैसे इसकी लय, ताल, तरन्नुम में मजा आ जाता है ना. स्पिन इतनी बढ़िया, उनका रन अप और शरीर का कोण और एकदम एंगलिंग बाहर की तरफ निकलती हुई, सीधे स्लिप में, कैच में, हाथ में भी. यानी इसको गोल्डन मोमेंट्स कह सकते हैं खेल के.
Absolutely, it's a joy to watch. He has a very simple action, just runs in very easily and bowls. He's changed his pace, he is varying his pace. He's bowled a couple of flatter deliveries to keep the batsman quiet and then tossed the ball up nicely, which again is a rarity these days, because you see the bowlers firing the ball in most times. In at number 8 is Karunaratne with 6 wickets gone. 104 runs on the board. So we have been saying Sri Lanka still have a very healthy run rate, but somehow they are unable to keep their wickets intact.
सो अब श्रीलंका के सामने बहुत बड़ा संकट है. क्या करें वो? क्या आक्रामक बल्लेबाजी करके 150-200 रन बनाने की कोशिश करें या इसी तरह धीर गंभीर खेलते रहे और विकेट जाते रहे? ये प्रश्न कौन रहा होगा बल्लेबाजों के मन में इस समय. लेकिन सेंटनर कोई आज़ादी नहीं देने वाले उन्हें कि भैया अच्छे स्ट्रोक्स खेलें. बहुत आक्रामक रुख आपको इख्तियार करना पड़ेगा, जो कि इस समय न्यूजीलैंड के कप्तान ने बना रखा है कि फील्डिंग घेराव बनाई हुई एकदम. जो आज़ादी उन्हें 4 फील्डर्स बाहर रखने की है पावर 2 में, वो नहीं ले रहे. शायद अब 3 ही खिलाड़ी हैं अभी तक बाहर, 7 खिलाड़ी 30 मीटर के अंदर. मौका ढूंढते हुए इस समय गलतियां करने के लिए बाध्य करते. सेंटर की गेंद पूरा सम्मान कॉपी बुक स्टाइल में, जिसको कहते हैं किताबी तरीके से उसको रक्षात्मक तरीके से खेला. 104 विकेट के नुकसान पर गंभीर स्थिति में श्रीलंका 17 ओवर की समाप्ति पर.
Excellent bowling by Mitchell Santner. 3 overs, 1 for 7. He has kept a tight leash and not let the Sri Lankan batters get away at all. Sri Lanka have scored runs more freely against the faster bowlers, but against Mitchell Santner they have found the going very, very tough indeed.
So, निशंका 2 रन पर आउट हुए थे. परेरा 51 पर, मेंडिस 6 पर, समर विक्रमा 1 पर, असलंका 8 पर, 16 पर मैथ्यूज. डिसिल्वा और करुणा रत्ने इस समय सामने. सऊदी गेंदबाजी करने के लिए तैयार. उनके डिसिल्वा कलाइयों का हल्के से इस्तेमाल करते हुए स्क्वायर लेग की तरफ खेला, तेजी से उसको फील्ड करते जब तक कि कॉनवे 1 रन के लिए दौड़ पड़े. दोनों ही बल्लेबाज बहुत राहत महसूस करते होंगे छोर बदलने के बाद. लेकिन इतनी घातक गेंदबाजी नहीं हो रही. कई बार ऐसे होता था, जब कोई जमाना था जब गार्नर आपके सामने होते थे तो बल्लेबाज बहुत राहत के क्षण गेंदबाज सोचता था कि चलो छोर बदला. अंशुमन गायकवाड़ घायल हुए थे वेस्ट इंडीज के दौरों में. वो जमाना अलग था. अब तो वार्निंग मिल जाती है एक जैसे ही आप शॉर्ट ऑफ लेंथ डालते हैं, लेकिन फिर भी डालते हैं. सऊदी गेंदबाजी करने के लिए तैयार. बल्ले से उलझती हुई गेंद विकेट कीपर के पास पहुंची. 105 विकेट के नुकसान पर 6.06 का औसत है. 43 रन सऊदी ने दिए. 5वां ओवर है ये. 1 विकेट लिया उन्होंने. न्यूजीलैंड के क्षेत्र रक्षकों में भी ऐसी कोई बहुत तेजी या चमक नजर नहीं आ रही. उन्हें भी लग रहा है अचानक सफलताएं मिलती जा रही हैं. लिए जाओ भाई बटोरो. सऊदी बीएमएल एंड से गेंदबाजी करने के लिए तैयार. लंबा उनका बॉलिंग रन अप. दाएं हाथ के गेंदबाज. अच्छी गेंद थी. कंधे का पूरा जोर लगाया और विकेट कीपर के पास सीधी पहुंची. बल्लेबाज द्वारा कोई प्रयास नहीं. करुणा रत्ने नए बल्लेबाज हैं और श्रीलंका के लिए दोनों स्थितियों में वो बल्लेबाजी और गेंदबाजी में क्या कुछ कर पाते हैं वो भविष्य का प्रश्न है. इस समय शांत बंगलुरु का ये मैदान. दर्शकों का शोर बहुत देर से गूंजा नहीं है. उत्साहित न्यूजीलैंड के सभी फील्डर्स, क्योंकि जल्दी सफलताएं मिलती रही. लोगों को लग रहा था 300 का रन कम से कम बनेगा. इस बार फिर हल्के से सुरक्षात्मक तरीके से खेला. फिलिप्स जब तक फील्ड करते कोई मौका नहीं रन बनाने का. 105 विकेट के नुकसान पर शांत खेल, एक तरह का खेल. 105 विकेट के नुकसान पर दर्शक अब उत्साहित करते हुए, हल्ला मचाते हुए कि भैया हम चौके छक्के देखने आए. आउट होते देखने में भी अच्छा लगता है, लेकिन सबसे ज्यादा अच्छा लगता है गेंदबाज जब बोल्ड करे, स्टंप्स हवा में हो. नितिन बहुत खुश हो रहे हैं क्योंकि विकेट कीपर के रूप में उन्होंने कैच तो लिए ही है. स्टंप्स को कैच किया कभी, बाद में पूछेंगे उनसे. सऊदी गेंदबाजी करने के लिए बाउंसर काफी ऊंचाई पर निकलता हुआ. वार्निंग स्कोरर हमारे वेंकट ने भी दी और एम्पायर ने भी दी. 105 विकेट के नुकसान पर प्रमुख हथियार हो गया आजकल बल्लेबाजों का नंदन. इस पे हम चर्चा करेंगे कि स्टंप्स आपने कभी कैच किए, लेकिन इसमें कोई शक नहीं कि गेंदबाज को स्वर्ग मिल जाता है जब मिडिल स्टंप हवा में हो या ऑफ स्टंप, लेग स्टंप हवा में हो किसी बल्लेबाज का. पगबाधा आउट करने में पता नहीं कितनी खुशी मिलती होगी. 105 6 विकेट के नुकसान पर। आखिरी गेंद अपने ओवर की, सऊदी राइट आर्म, पूरा सम्मान दिया, शांत खेल, कोई रन नहीं, ओवर समाप्त हुआ। 18 ओवर की समाप्ति पर श्रीलंका 105 रन 6 विकेट के नुकसान पर।
18 overs gone. Sri Lanka put into bat by New Zealand, 105 for the loss of 6 wickets. Dhananjay De Silva is unbeaten on 19 of 21. A beautiful 6 in Saudi's previous over, which is the highlight of De Silva's innings so far. Karun Ratne yet to get off the mark. 7 deliveries he's faced. And Sri Lanka struggling out there after being inserted in. 105 for the loss of 6 wickets. A very, very good crowd in here today. When game began, there weren't so many spectators in, but slowly more and more people have come inside the stadium, and they would be hoping that Sri Lanka somehow get their act together and put up a decent total. They would want to see a good game of cricket, though we have seen that they are probably supporting New Zealand more than they are Sri Lanka, but they would want to have a very good game of cricket before they go home later in the evening. Here is Santner starting a fresh over, left arm round the wicket, passes umpire, Holdstock bowls up to De Silva. De Silva comes forward and plays it quietly out into the offside. A slip in place, short third man, cover and a mid wicket and a short fine leg inside the circle as that ball from Santner holds up a little bit. Off the back foot, De Silva plays it to mid-on. Karun Ratne thought of a single, but Williamson there at mid-wicket, quickly moving to his left, snuffs any chance there might have been of a single. Lockie Ferguson from the long on boundary also ran in, as here is Santner once again bowling very, very well, keeping the batsman on a tight leash, and that's another wicket. This is inexplicable for Sri Lanka. This is a very good batting track. There is a bit of turn, but the line is around off stump or outside off stump. They would know that the ball is turning away from them, and they're still poking their bats at it. And that one once again taking the outside edge. Daryl Mitchell at slip, making no mistake. And wicket number 7 is down for Sri Lanka, as we see here in our replay. That was well outside the off stump. That is poor batting, Mukul, from Sri Lanka. There was no reason for that batter to put his bat to ball. If at all, he could have cut it, but he just hangs his bat out to dry. The ball almost off the face of the bat, going into the safe hands of Mitchell at slip. 105 for 7, and that's De Silva as well, the said batsman out.
कुछ चीजें होती हैं जो अप्रत्याशित होती हैं, जिसमें आप भौचक हो जाते हैं कि ऐसा इतनी अच्छी गेंद थी कि मैं खेल नहीं पाया। कुछ चीजें आप सामान्य तौर पर जब अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मैच खेल रहे होते हैं समझते हैं। तो नंदन ने कहा कि जब आपको पता है कि टर्न ले रही है, सेंटर कोई अजूबा नहीं कर रहे, कोई गुगली या चाइनामैन नहीं डाल रहे, तो आप अपने आप को कमिट करके बैकफुट पे हट के खेलते, कुछ कोशिश करते। सिर्फ बल्ले को अड़ा भर दिया और भौचक रह गए खुद भी, और एक अवसर मिला आउट होने का।
Nothing short really from Dhananjay De Silva, who was set there, who was the only recognized batter left for Sri Lanka. And if Sri Lanka had to do anything with the innings, it was down to Dhananjay De Silva. But then he is out in a rather tame fashion, giving Santner his second wicket, and that also has emboldened Santner to put another slip in place. So we have a slip and a gully now, with 3 wickets remaining for Sri Lanka. Theekshana, the new batter, in, a spin bowler himself, as New Zealand would be looking to wrap up this Sri Lankan innings as quickly as they can. This win would certainly brighten their chances of qualifying for the semi-finals. Here is Santner into Theekshana and beats him straight up. Coming forward, Theekshana trying to play it with a straight bat, missing it completely. The ball going into Latham's gloves. Luckily for him, no damage done. New Zealand's net run rate is very good, and a big win here would increase that manyfold as the next ball is played back defensively by Theekshana. Sri Lanka remain on 105 for the loss of 7 wickets. The partnership so far have been 327, 238, 0, 34 and 1. That gives you an idea of the way the Sri Lankan innings has gone. Further changes in the field. The gully comes off now, and there is a silly point. No, there isn't. Mitchell, who thought of coming up there, goes back to his position in the slip. So we still have a slip and a gully. Here is Santner into Theekshana. That was flattered through the air, forcing Theekshana on his back foot. Plays it quietly out into the offside. A wicket maiden for Mitchell Santner. He's bowled superbly. His figures read 4 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 7. Super bowling by Mitchell Santner. He has kept up the pressure for New Zealand. He has not let the Sri Lankan batters get away at all. And Mukul, Sri Lanka will have to come up with a different response if they have to make anything of this game.
बहुत मुश्किल सवाल पूछ लिया आपने नंदन, क्योंकि बल्लेबाजी शुरुआत से विकेट गिरते रहे, रन बनते रहे, कुछ ने आक्रामक बल्लेबाजी करने की कोशिश. अब आखिरी 3 खिलाड़ी या तो अपना सब कुछ झोंक दें, वही आउट तो वैसे ही हो रहे हैं. आप 2-4 छक्के लगाएं, अच्छा आक्रामक खेल करें, गेंदबाज की लय तोड़ें. सेंटनर को अगर आप 2 छक्के मार देंगे तो वो इतनी धार से गेंदबाजी नहीं कर पाएंगे. लेकिन क्या ऐसा होगा? रविंद्र आ गए नए गेंदबाज जिनको याद कर रहे थे नंदन, और वो तुरंत विलियमसन ने सुन लिया.
For the first time then, spin from either end. We have seen Santner bowl very well from the pavilion end. And now Rachit Ravindra coming in from the BEML end. He will be bowling to Karun Ratne, who's yet to get off the mark. Theekshana yet to get off the mark. And Sri Lanka really in a very difficult position. What do they do from here? Only 19 overs have gone, so we still have 31 overs left in this innings.
जनता से संसद तक एक बार फिर चल पड़ी है चुनावी रेल.
18 वर्ष से ऊपर हर यात्री से अनुरोध है, अपनी दुविधाओं और समस्याओं का पिटारा लेकर आ जाएं। मतदाता जंक्शन सीजन 2 पर
निर्वाचन आयोग और आकाशवाणी कर रहे हैं आपका इंतजार. तो आइए मिलते हैं मतदाता जंक्शन सीजन 2 पर.
Ravindra starts his spell. The first ball is played back along the track and there is no run. Slip, point, man on the cover boundary, extra cover as here is Ravindra. Runs in but misses his stepping. And once again he has to go back to the top of his bowling mark. A long off, a mid-on, a mid-wicket, a man on the mid-wicket fence and a short fine leg. That's the field Ravindra has for Karun Ratne, who gets off the mark finally. Plays it down the ground to long off. Santner, the man on the long off fence, comes in, returns the ball to Ravindra. The single taking Karun Ratne on 1.
This commentary is
as here is Ravindra into Theekshana, and Theekshana playing it past the fielder at slip. Ferguson, the man at point, not moving quickly enough to his left. Otherwise there might have been an opportunity for a run out. In the end, the batsman completing the run quite comfortably. A single to Theekshana takes him off the mark as well. Sri Lanka go on to 107 for the loss of 7 wickets. They have lost wickets regularly. Their innings never really settled down. There were a couple of 30-odd partnerships, but apart from that, nothing much. As the next ball is swept by Theekshana, Karun Ratne, beg your pardon, past the fielder at short fine leg for 4 runs. A welcome boundary come after a very long time. 4 runs to Karun Ratne, takes him on to 5 and takes Sri Lanka on to 111 for the loss of 7 wickets. Venkat tells us that the last boundary came in the 14th over, so almost 5 overs ago. So that gives you an indication of how much control the New Zealand bowlers have wielded over the Sri Lankan batters. But here in this over, in Ravindra's first over, Karun Ratne getting a boundary. Can he replicate that? Here is Ravindra into Karun Ratne, who comes forward. Looking good, Karun Ratne out in the middle. Though he has scored only 5 of 11 deliveries, he's looked good. His defence looks sound. He looks a stylish batter. How much can he contribute remains the question. Here is Ravindra again into Karun Ratne. Once again on a length. Draws Karun Ratne forward. Plays it back along the track. End of over number 20. 111 for the loss of 7 wickets. The first 10 overs fetched us 74 runs for the loss of 5 wickets. The next 10 have fetched us 37 runs only for the loss of 2 wickets.
This commentary is brought to you by Akashvani in association with Channel 2 Group, exclusive global rights holder.
So, एक अच्छा मैच देखने की प्रतीक्षा करते हुए यहाँ दर्शकों को चेन्नई यहाँ बेंगलुरु के स्टेडियम में चिन्नास्वामी स्टेडियम साक्षी बन रहा है एक अच्छे मैच का। धूप इस समय बिखरी हुई आसमान में, जो बादलों की आशंका थी वो नहीं। सेंटनर बॉलिंग करने के लिए तैयार, अगले ओवर के लिए इस बार कम टर्न थी, उतनी ज्यादा नहीं, सम्मान दिया पूरा तीक्ष्ण ने। 1 रन पर खेल रहे हैं, 5 विकेट के नुकसान। 10 ओवरों में 74 रन बने थे, उसके बाद के 10 ओवरों में 37 रन, 111, 7 विकेट के नुकसान पर। यह है श्रीलंका का स्कोर। सेंटनर गेंदबाजी करने के लिए तैयार, उनके सामने है बल्लेबाज एकदम सक्रिय, हल्के से कलाइयों का इस्तेमाल किया, फील्डर मौजूद है वहां पर। विलियमसन खुद कप्तान के रूप में, प्लेसिंग बहुत अच्छी, फील्डिंग उन्होंने यहाँ छितराए हुए एकदम सीमा रेखा पर कुछ खिलाड़ी खड़े किए हुए हैं, कुछ नजदीकी 2।
Stitstrup says it would be lovely to see South Africa versus Australia and India versus Pakistan, but that's not going to happen. Seriously, which format do you guys think would be the ultimate for the World Cup? This one doesn't work out. Well, as we were discussing earlier, I think you have more teams and groups, a bit like they're doing for the T20 World Cup, which is 4 groups of 5. And I think that gives more people opportunity. It means you can get through it quicker, and there is significance on pretty well every game. This next week, as Andy says, is going to be, pretty meaningless.
And to be honest, they're fortunate it didn't happen 10 days ago. If it wasn't for Afghanistan, it probably would. I agree. I think the format for the next T20 World Cup is fine. It's very good, I think. Anyway, Lockie Ferguson's going to come in. 1 for 25 for him so far. And flashed, Latham drops down, falls over, catches it, but there was no edge. And there's no run.
That's a very animated catch behind the stumps there. Or collection behind the stumps, I'll say.
All about
putting all the effort in.
All about balance, wicket keeping. But the format...
Hendo will tell us.
Exactly, the format of the game. I didn't know Hendo used to be a keeper. Did he? I knew he was a batsman.
Yes, I've got some very embarrassing pictures of him, which I won't post today.
Depends on the donations you get, right, Messi? How much you post?
Oh, that's true, yes. That's very good point, Spoon.
Yep, starting at $10 super chat. Going into short leg. I think that's Glenn Phillips has gone into short leg.
That's an interesting spot. No slip.
No. Obviously they feel that's where they would most benefit. It took a little while to put all his protective gear on. Ferguson's in again, fires it into the pads, hits the pad, goes to Phillips, but obviously not off the bat.
Oh, there is a slip. I'm sorry, I was wrong.
Is this the first time we've seen a short leg in this whole tournament?
There's probably been one here and there, but not many.
No.
It's the one thing, I've seen a lot of players, they'll put a spinner on, but they won't put a slip, they won't put a short leg or a silly mid on him to keep the pressure on the batters.
Well, it's a very game situation dependent thing, isn't it? That one's left alone by Tikshana. He's on 2 off 12, not really sure what these batsmen can do. Try to cobble together 180, I don't know.
Like if they can somehow bat out the overs, they'll put another 30 runs on. Like that, batting out the overs means their run rate won't be very high. So it's one of those things where you're probably better off just trying to hit everything for 6 because you're not going to put too much of a score on anyway.
Well, I'd go somewhere in between. There's certainly no point setting a stall out to bat 50 overs, or you just score no runs and then you'll get out anyway. As I've had to tell people in club cricket on occasion. Ferguson is around the wicket and is dropped down to point for no run. Yeah, there was a game where we were like 7 down with 20 overs left. And one of our guys is just blocking out maidens. And I asked him why afterwards. And he says, well, I wanted to bat out the overs. But there's no point if you're not scoring any runs.
Oh dear.
But
Yes,
as I say,
it does seem. It all seems a bit pointless, doesn't it, at the moment?
Yeah, 112 for 7. You suggest that the damage has already been done. It's a well-directed short ball from Ferguson from round the wicket. Tikshana ducks underneath it.
Because it seems that Sri Lanka's got one successful bowler and then no others really, Sapun. I'm sorry to insult you.
No. I just want to make sure Madhushanka gets enough wickets today to put him outside Zampa's reach on the leaderboard. at least for this stage. Like, considering Australia's gotten through to the semis, Zampa will end up overtaking Madhushanka eventually. But for this stage, when everyone's playing, I want Madhushanka to remain on top.
You
He's
do
been an
realise
amazing bowler.
it's your hatred of Zampa that drives him on.
Another short ball, left alone. There's no run. Yes, that would be a moral victory, although not one that would get you paid out at the bookies. You know, it's whoever many games they play.
A moral bookies is an interesting concept. Muttley says, woof, Messers, woof, Tony, woof, Sapun, woof, Andy. There you go. Matthew Cullen says, why is this cricketing cats? And he says, copyright, I see. Yes, we got a slightly strange YouTube screen with a picture of a very cute kitten, which we thought might help not get us struck. And so far, we've been successful. Usman Khan says, can anyone tell me why Ferguson wears the black cap shoes always unlike other teammates? I haven't noticed.
Shoes, did he say?
His
Shoes, I think.
Well, they all wear different. They all wear different boots. It's like football.
No, they all wear the same pair of boots. They just share them around.
Right, here comes Santner.
Well,
Left arm over. Oh, big massive bird flies in front of the camera as Karen Rattler punches that one out to deep cover. That would have caused Marnus Labuschagne to hold the game up for 2 minutes.
oh, absolutely.
No, he would have held the game up and said, while the game's being held up, someone bring me a drink.
That boy ain't right.
No. If anybody moves anywhere within the stadium, he stops.
Yeah, but if someone comes out with a broken helmet, he's timed out. Good work, cricket. In fact, doesn't even come out with a broken helmet. It broke while he was out there.
Yep.
Santner continues. He's got a silly point and a slip. And it goes straight to silly point, who jumps out of the way of it, rather removing the validity of his presence there. But with not too much going on here, we can cast our mind back to the last few days. I think that Maxwell innings is the best limited over innings I've ever seen. As Santner comes in again, bird flies past again. That one hits silly point, there's no run. Just incredible.
If the ball hits the bird, is that a dead ball or a dead bird?
Or both.
And whose responsibility is it to remove the birds from the field? The fielding side or the batter who hit it?
Probably the batter who hit it. Played out to cover. There's no run. But yeah, for coming in that situation, 90 for 7, it looked all done.
It did.
For Australia. And unfortunately for Afghanistan, that dropped catch by Mujib, I don't think you've ever seen a dropped catch have so much impact. Played down into the wicket and there's no run. But yeah, as he went on and got more and more cramped, it just shows you that, is footwork even necessary? Is it maybe overrated?
And then all the coaches for junior teams would be going like, oh no.
Exactly.
Everyone's just going to be standing and delivering.
Well, they might do better in the short term. Santner bowls another dot ball. He's got 2 for 9 in 6. He's rocketing his economy weight in the right direction. Sri Lanka are doing the opposite. It's 113 for 7.
It does seem pretty directionless, doesn't it? Kalitsa says, world cricket is like world rugby, copyright striking people who grow the sport. Yeah. Mog says these birds are taking the piss. They are very big and going straight for the camera. Angelo Matthews, 16 runs off 27 balls today. Is that an Andy Ward innings?
Yep. What was the point of that?
Pretty much is. Yep. Muttley can confirm footwork and feet, plural, is generally overrated. 1 foot's plenty, isn't it, Matt? Fox of birds on the pitch is more of a county championship thing, says Nick Vickers.
They're big ones, though. You can see them swooping around.
Yeah.
Are there any ornithologists can tell us what those are? They're not kestrels,
I suspect they're kites.
Kites? Yeah, they could be, yeah.
I'm expecting at some point the players are just going to need to dive to the ground to stop the birds attacking them.
Get dive bombed, yeah. Ferguson has almost a leg gully. I wouldn't call him a short leg. Fires that one across Karandaratne and there's no run.
I will say on the Maxwell innings, there's 2 bits of it that are the cream de la crop for me, where Adam Zampa walks all the way down to the boundary rope, ready to jump in. First at the LBW, and then second when he's cramped. Yeah. And each time he walks his way back with a very sad look on his face. And just for me, that was the best part of that innings.
Steps across Karandaratne, but he still can't do anything but duck under the ball. Yeah, he's almost like a little kid who wants the wicket to fall so he can go in.
Yeah, my turn. It was just crazy. It was completely crazy. To have that hand-eye coordination when you can't even move your feet, and to place the ball as he did as well for the fours between fielders.
At one point I said, well, put the field back straight and bowl full and see if he can sweep. And then the next ball he reverse swept for 6 off the seamer.
Yeah.
I've always said he was a great...
There's no such thing as field placement.
I think that's an edge.
Maxwell.
I think that's an edge. Yes, it is. Karandaratne's edge behind. Joel Wilson took quite a long time to give it, but I'm pretty sure it is the right decision. It was a very full ball. He just prodded at it, Karandaratne, and maybe hit his bat on the ground as well. It was one of those. Latham dived down to his right. He's not going to review it, and rightly so. And that's another wicket.
The crowd says, you're out.
That's 113 for 8 in the 23rd over, sorry.
That was an Andy partnership, if there was one. 8 runs off 30 balls between them. They've had 8 for 2 from the last 5 overs. What a waste of everybody's time.
Just hit out. Just go for 6s, go for 4s. Just if you're only going to make 1 or 2 runs an over, adding another 5-6 overs doesn't matter. Like, just get it in 2 overs and get the game over and done with.
I think we're all on the same page with that one, yeah.
Yeah, it's all pretty pointless at the moment. Ajit says the approach of Sri Lanka's top order has been bizarre. If they complete their 50 overs, they can still make New Zealand sweat. This is a while ago. Knowing that there's some rain in the air, why not try to bat normally and get 280 instead of looking to get 350? Well, they could have done that. It's well past that now. And Tony Bishop sends a picture of the sparrow at Lord's, saying, well, this unfortunate bird is pretty famous. Killed at Lord's in 1936. And Kiwi by day says, forget footwork. Are feet even necessary?
Stand and deliver
and
indeed.
David Latimer on the format says, just a different idea. If they want longer games for TV rights, no, why not 2020 game but 2 innings each, 80 overs, high octane with a test match style result? It doesn't work. It's been tried.
I think it has been tried. It's a full toss from Ferguson. It's clearly edged onto the pad, so I don't know what they're all want to review for. It's a very... Oh, that's a terrible review in my book. Let me just jingle up the batsmen while they do this.
That's a Pat Cummins review.
He wears a Sri Lankan cap. He
He bowls it nice and quick, though his radar can be crap.
Did no one see that massive inside edge on the pitch?
There's no way. The amount it deflected, it had to be an edge. Like, there's no way that there hasn't been that level of swing.
Oh, there.
You're a little bit ahead of me. Yeah, it's huge. Oh man, I guess New Zealand have got 2 reviews, and they. Even with that, that's one of the most bizarre reviews you'll see. I think even Pat Cummins would be insulting if you called that one of his reviews.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a shocker. They're all laughing now.
Yeah. Williamson has a bit of a Captain Picard head in hands, and they're all trying to blame each other. You said review, no, you said. Ferguson is in, and that's defended into the offside. There's no run.
Oh dear. So what's next for Sri Lanka?
Regular host World Cup shenanigans back at home, where everyone blames everyone. The board gets exposed for corruption, the players get exposed for corruption, various other accusations go around, and then we'll have a brand new team of completely new players with no experience for the next series.
So business as usual.
Normal.
Played inside that one, goes through to the keeper for no run. End of the over, it's 113 for 8.
Farong
the players probably won't get paid.
Oh yes, that too. Farong says, greetings all this muggy Thursday. I hope everyone's well. Well, the Black Caps would have to bat very poorly to lose this one. With comments from the umpires brigade coming to light, does AM now deserve the title of Mr. Shithazri? AM being
Angelo
Matthews, you presume.
Well, he was the victim of shithousery, surely.
Yes.
Yes, I would have thought so.
And the more you read about the timings and everything else, like there's umpires saying he was out of time already by the time the strap broke, but you actually time it.
It's 1 minute 55.
He showed the receipts, yeah. Although I still think it'd be better off just to let it go. But
yeah, I mean, I don't think that was relevant, in fact.
Well, it's crazy. That one's played down to slip for no run. It's crazy that the rule has never come into play for its intended purpose in international cricket ever. And the first time it does, it's in a pretty ridiculous situation, which... Oh, better turn there for Santner. But Tikshana pulled his bat away. Yeah, which does suggest the rule maybe needs looked at.
Yep.
Among others.
Yeah.
In fact, I think he just played at that and missed it by a million miles rather than pulling his bat away. Slip and silly pointer in. Santner tosses it up as you would, but he manages to punch that one up to long off for a single. Bring him on to 3 off 23. See, it's all very well doing that when you've got someone at the other end scoring runs.
Yeah. Like, just do us all a favour, Tikshana. Camira, just hit a couple of sixes, get yourself out. You'll make the same runs as you would doing this for another 5 overs.
Yeah. Right. Phillips is moving here, there, and he's gone down. He's gone down Marcus Trescothick style on his knees at a very, I would call it a super short gully.
Ooh, a dwarf gully, maybe.
Dwarf gully.
It's not.
That's a good position name, actually.
He's very, very close there. I mean, he's behind the wicket. He's not in the batsman's eye line. In fact, he's gone on to all 4s. What on earth is he doing? Brings his hands up at the last minute. It's played out to cover for no run. I've seen Trescothick do that, but that's because he was like 41.
Yeah, I can relate.
Yeah, absolutely. And Phillips.
No, he's crossing his crossing his legs.
And it was almost there. And in fact, it would have gone straight to him if he's where he was before, which maybe will teach him. But yes, he's on all 4s. He's crossed his legs behind him the time before. It's bizarre. You've never seen
Surely that's
like
slowing down his reaction time, because your reaction comes, you prep with your feet, not your knees.
Yeah, you'd think so.
To react.
That's probably why no one else ever does it. That's a good ball by Camira. Santner, to Camira. Bit of turn. End of the over. Santner 2 for 10 off 7. He's going to bowl his most economical ODI spell ever, I'm sure. And that's the end of the over.
Nick Vickers said, I think a good format would be 16 teams, 4 groups of 4, top 2 in each group go to the quarterfinals, and it's straight knockout from there. I like 4 groups of 5 because you get at least 4 games for each team there. But 4 of 4 works. And Harriet Atkinson's just found out, better late than never, that I can watch highlights on channel My5 free. I don't even know where that is. Harriet?
That feels like a trap, Messi. Don't click on it.
Maxwell brought back the memories of the late Dean Jones that day. There is always a Dino among their batting lineup. Not always, but yeah.
Well, Tekshana ambled down the wicket after he played that one. Kamira rightly said no thanks, and then he ambled back. I think he was probably back in as the throw came in. But just seemed like, but he couldn't even move because his feet were behind each other. What's he doing? We're getting a replay of that Phillips thing. And you're absolutely right, Sujin. You get more spring and purchase and reactions when you're on your feet. That one's played down to Slip, and as if to prove the point, Slip dives across and stops it and throws it into the wicket.
Maybe it's a new form of cricket they're trying to, like, there's baseball for the English guys, so there's knee fielding for the Kiwis. I don't know.
That's so strange. He had no extra extension.
If he was on his feet, he would have caught that.
He'd have had a chance. What a dingus. I'm definitely going to start calling people dingus more often. It's not really swearing, but it's quite insulting. Ferguson's coming round the wicket.
That's one of my favourites.
Yeah. Phillips is just, playing his own game. He's at kind of leg second Slip. Again, quite close. They get through for a single there.
Surprised he hasn't put himself down at long stop. If he's going to do his own fielding, if he's going to do whatever weird wacky things he wants.
Like changing position every ball. I mean, he's allowed to do that. The batsman's got to keep an eye on it. He's now gone back to short leg. The antics of Glenn Phillips are the only thing making this really particularly interesting at the moment. Sri Lanka tried to eke out a few more runs to no particular purpose. That one is full and just defended. Back to the bowler for no run.
Now, I didn't get a good... I wasn't paying too much attention in the first 20 overs. Was there much swing with the ball, or was it just the bad shots were driving the wickets?
No, there was definitely some swing early on. Both Bolt and Southey bowled really well, actually. So it's quite challenging, as it often is for the first 5 or 6 overs for most sides, actually.
Good short ball. Kamira ducks under it, although number 9 and number 10 tend to make your short balls look a bit better than they are, perhaps.
Indeed. I can tell you they scored 4 runs from the last 5 overs.
So at that rate, with 25 overs to go...
Another 20 runs.
Oh, dear God.
Ferguson mostly bowling short. In fact, he's bowled a bunch of balls shorter than halfway. You can see on his pitch map. That's full, though. It's a good Yorker, and it's dug out by Kamira. There'll be no run. It's the end of the over. It's 115 for 8 off 26.
Dan De Castro says, with Pakistan eliminated, England should win easily on Saturday. It's impossible for New Zealand to lose from here. I think that's pretty much nailed on, isn't it?
Yeah, but don't underestimate
the Sri Lankan wickets
capacity to underperform, especially now.
Yeah, that's true, I suppose. He also says all the Sri Lankan wickets were bad shots. There are no demons, certainly no demons in the pitch, but there was swing around early on. Mog says quality advertisement for ODI cricket at the highest formats. And Parabadshah's with this. A high old sort spend the night with a blackbird flapping around in the wall. It finally dislodged itself a few hours ago, mercifully for it in my sleep. Well, I've had a possum caught in the wall behind it.
Finally a shot, and it's gone over mid-on, and it's going to go one bounce for 4. Well, no one was expecting that.
Well,
Oh, I got to play a jingle. That stunned me.
Like the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah. Santner just bowled a ball he's bowled 20 times in the last half hour and people have prodded at and whacked it over his head before.
I think Shamir has just gone, you know what, Santa, I'm not going to let you finish with your best bowling figures. I'm going to ruin your economy now.
Now you see another one. It's tossed up and it's punched away through cover, beats the fielder. That's 4 more.
So I'd say that's Tikshana.
Tikshana, yes, sorry.
Yeah. Shamir is still on 0 off 9.
That's quite a good shot actually. Santner bowled it very full, got on top of the bounce. A nice cover drive.
And we'll say Glenn Phillips is back on his feet. Yes.
He is, after that bizarre experiment. He is at a close second slip. Santner fires that one in a bit quicker, predictably enough. It's played back to him for no run. And Sri Lanka up to the dizzy heights of 123 as Santner is in again. Now Phillips is in the crouch once again. Still beats him past point. There's no run. Phillips is one of those fielders you've always got to keep an eye on because he just gets bored and starts doing shit.
Start digging up the ground any moment.
Santner tosses it up again, clubs it past cover again. I think long off's going to cut that off though. Yes, easily enough. Trent Bolt with the fielder. That would just be a single.
They might get to 150 here.
Well,
how far away is the raid, Messi?
Well, I can't see any on the radar. It's, you know how thunder suddenly just forms sometimes.
Well, when I looked, the dodgy spell was the first 2 hours of the game. That's when it was most likely. So I'm not sure the rain is going to save them now. 2 slips and a silly point now. That's for Kamira, who's on 0, so it's more understandable. He goes back and plays it back to the bowler for no run, the end of the over, 124 for 8.
Kiwi by Day says, the only good thing about needing hearing aids is that I can stream Guerrilla Cricket directly to my ears without anyone noticing. Yeah, good ploy. I like that.
Pretty soon you'll be able to get us directly into your brain.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like that.
No.
Mind you, I did wake up this morning dreaming of spreadsheets and rotors, which is this not a good stuff.
Imagine what Tony's frizzled brain must be
like.
Oh,
yeah. My admiration of him has gone sky high since I took over from him for a bit.
Ferguson's back.
We're up to date on tweets.
Yep. And it's played down. It's short again. It's played down into the offside for no run. Yeah, if they play a few shots, Sujin, perhaps 150 is back on the cards.
Yeah, I think if nothing's defendable here. And none of the players in the Sri Lankan team can do a Maxwell.
Well, who else can?
Well, to be fair, nobody can. Yeah.
I'd say Aidan Markram would give it a shot.
It's Fuller and Tikshana doesn't really step into it, just plays it out to cover for no run. Or Klaassen, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, those players will be facing off in the semi-final. I can't remember which one I'm doing. I'm doing the first one. Do you know which one that is, Jez?
That's a really good question.
They haven't confirmed yet. I think they'll confirm after New Zealand
it depends
qualify today.
If Pakistan are in, they might change a venue. Isn't that it? Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Played down to point and there'll be no run.
I think for the final, we're planning on having the White Line Wireless. We're having a watch party there with every caller in the studio, jumping on the mic whenever they can.
Well, it's a bit like when the Cup final used to, or the World Cup final, it still is, I suppose, is shown on BBC and ITV. I expect both of us are going to do the final. Is that going to be the case with Mooney Ponds? Is that going to be the shoulder for no run?
I understood we were cooperating and just coming together to do it. I'm not Tony's going to be running that one, but I think it's going to be a cooperative effort rather than competitive.
There's no reason why. It would all be friendly, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Ferguson's in again. He's back over the wicket though, but it's a short ball and it's fended down past backward point to third man. I'll pick up a single. Tikshana trying to keep on strike, I think. He's given Kamira one ball of this over. And we are, at least looks like, famous last words, we're going to get through to the 30 over mark when Bear, Mogg and James will come back. But I doubt I'll be required for 41 to 50.
Yeah, same.
Well, I didn't think we'd get to 30, to be honest.
No, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Just a word of warning, if we finish, say, 10 overs early, probably all the rotors will